God will restore all your wasted years. Have you ever felt like you've lost time? Years of hard work gone, dreams shattered, relationships broken, and hope fading? What if I told you that it's never too late for restoration? God has promised to restore all the wasted years, and He never breaks His promises. The reality of wasted years. We all go through seasons in life where it feels like everything is falling apart. For some, it's time spent chasing the wrong career, a toxic relationship, or making bad choices. It might feel like those years are gone forever, but with God, nothing is truly wasted. Imagine a man who spent most of his adult life building a business. He poured his time, energy, and resources into it, but one day, everything collapsed. The business failed, and it felt like his whole life had crumbled with it. He looked back at the years he had spent working so hard, and it felt like they were wasted. All those sleepless nights, sacrifices, and dreams now seemed pointless. But here's the truth. God is in the business of restoration. The man thought his best years were behind him, but God had a different plan. In the middle of his despair, he turned to God. It didn't happen overnight, but slowly, doors started to open again. Opportunities came that he never expected. The lessons he had learned from his failure became stepping stones to a new beginning. What seemed like wasted years were actually preparing him for something even greater. God restored his life, and he came out stronger than ever before. The promise of restoration. In the Bible, God speaks directly about restoring the lost years. In Joel 2, verse 25, he says, asterisk, I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. Asterisk, this is a powerful promise. God is not just saying He will make things better. He is saying that He will restore the years that seem lost, broken, and wasted. This promise isn't just for those who lived thousands of years ago. It's for you and me today. It's for anyone who feels like time has slipped through their fingers, like they've made too many mistakes or missed too many opportunities. God can redeem every moment. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. He was betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery. For years, he lived in Egypt, away from his family and his dreams. It seemed like his life was completely off track, and he was wasting away in a foreign land. But God was working behind the scenes. Eventually, Joseph rose to become a leader in Egypt, and God used him to save his family from famine. What looked like wasted years in slavery and prison were actually part of God's plan to prepare him for something far greater. God restored those years and gave Joseph a purpose bigger than he ever imagined. God works through our mistakes. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you feel like your bad decisions have ruined your chances for success or happiness. But let me remind you, God is bigger than your mistakes. He can take even your worst decisions and turn them around for your good. Think of Peter, one of Jesus' disciples. Peter made a huge mistake when he denied Jesus 3 times, even though he had promised to stay faithful. Peter felt ashamed and broken, thinking he had ruined his chance to serve God. But after Jesus' resurrection, He forgave Peter and restored him. Not only did Peter get a second chance, but he became one of the most influential leaders in the early church. God used Peter's failure as a platform for restoration and transformation. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8, verse 28. This verse reminds us that even in the middle of failure, God is still at work. Nothing is wasted in God's hands. A journey of patience. One important thing to remember is that restoration is often a process. It doesn't always happen right away. Sometimes, God allows us to go through seasons of waiting and growth before the full restoration comes. This doesn't mean God has forgotten you. In fact, He is using this time to prepare you for the blessings ahead. Look at Job's story. He lost everything, his family, his wealth, and his health. Yet, in the end, God restored Job's fortunes, giving him twice as much as he had before. Job 42, verse 10. But that restoration didn't happen instantly. Job had to endure hardship, but God was faithful, and He restored everything at the right time. In your own life, the restoration of your wasted years may not happen immediately. You might feel like nothing is changing, but trust that God is working behind the scenes. Every day, He is aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances to bring about His perfect plan for your life. He will restore what was lost, relationships, dreams, health, or time, but in His timing, not ours. What can you do while you wait? While you are waiting for God to restore your wasted years, there are a few things you can do. Trust in God's timing. God's timing is perfect, even if it doesn't match our own. Remember, a delay is not a denial. Stay faithful and patient, knowing that God is working everything out for your good. Seek God in prayer. Spend time in prayer, asking God for guidance and peace. It's easy to get discouraged, but prayer can help you stay connected to God's promises and keep your heart aligned with His will. Let go of the past. Holding on to regret or guilt can keep you stuck. Let go of the past and trust that God has already forgiven you and has a plan to restore you. Take small steps forward. Even while you're waiting, you can take steps toward restoration. Whether it's rebuilding a relationship, learning a new skill, or making healthier choices, small actions can lead to big transformations. Your restoration story awaits. God is a God of restoration. He promises to restore all that was lost, wasted, or stolen. It doesn't matter how long it's been or how impossible it seems. Nothing is too hard for God. What might seem like the end of your story is just the beginning in God's hands. As you trust Him, He will work behind the scenes to turn your pain into purpose, your brokenness into beauty, and your wasted years into seasons of joy and blessing. Don't give up hope. Restoration is coming. God will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. Your best years are not behind you. They're still ahead. Asterisk. The Lord will restore all the wasted years, and you will see His faithfulness. Asterisk. Joel 2 verse 25.